So what is a blockchain? This peer-to-peer transfer of value over the internet digitally via a decentralized ledger is very much underpinned by this technology of blockchains. However, a blockchain can be understood as something much simpler. An analogy that I like to use is when you order something online, say from Amazon. Most sellers will send you some sort of order tracker. For Amazon, it may start with the order confirmation. The next might be a confirmation that your order has been processed. The one after that might be that your order has left the warehouse and is being shipped. You might then get another tracker that says your purchase is en route. And finally, you get that lovely notification that your purchase has been delivered to your front door by the delivery person. Well, basically, that's how a blockchain works. Each one of those emails or notifications that you received from Amazon has been triggered each time your order passed through a step. And each time it does that, the action causes the order tracker to update the status of your purchase. The chain works in one direction via a timestamp, just like your Amazon order tracker, which means that no one can go back and tamper with earlier steps. So the delivery person can't go back and change the order to steal your precious goods. This type of sequence is also called append-only. A blockchain is simply a database of transactions, often called a distributed ledger, that has been duplicated and broadcast to a network of users who can all verify and agree on the database. Each new block that comes up afterwards may contain several new transactions, and every time a block comes up, it has to be approved by the nodes, each of whom checks its validity. Once every node has checked a block, there's a sort of electronic vote, as some nodes may think the transaction is valid and others may think it's a fraud. You'll remember that the nodes referred to are computers, and each node has a copy of the digital ledger or blockchain. Once each node checks the validity of the block, and a majority of nodes say that a transaction is valid, then it's written onto the blockchain. This is called consensus. On some blockchains, this consensus is achieved by a few nodes that have the most at stake, called supernodes. When consensus is reached, the new block is appended onto the chain, and a record of that transaction is added to the ledger. This accepted version of the blockchain ledger is broadcast over the entire network of nodes that run the same blockchain software. All the nodes have the same copy, and then the process repeats again to verify the next block to add onto the chain. Probabilistic finality is the term used to describe a transaction's finality as it increases when more blocks are added to the blockchain after that transaction. That is, as more blocks are built upon it or added, the transaction is further referenced in the blockchain and becomes increasingly difficult to revert or alter as a result of the proof of work and consensus. For most protocols involving probabilistic finality, there's a recommended number of blocks to be added following the transaction before it can be considered complete. For example, it's recommended that one wait until 6 additional blocks have been added to the Bitcoin blockchain before considering a transaction to be final. Hopefully, it should be apparent to you by now that the use of blockchain doesn't need to be just money-based and can be for a variety of purposes, such as the Amazon analogy we used, issuing and maintaining real estate titles and records, medical record keeping, tracking produce, livestock, and medicine throughout the supply chain, verifying ownership or validity of assets or rights, trade finance, and even voting mechanisms. Even CFI certificates are verifiable on a blockchain. We use blockchain technology to cryptographically generate a record of the credential so that employers can be completely certain that a credential hasn't been tampered with since being created. This process significantly increases fraud protection and increases the value of your CFI designation. Once the credential has been recorded on the blockchain, it cannot be edited, altered, forged, or changed in any way. So if someone creates a phony PDF copy of your CFI designation with their own name or personal details, it won't be verified by the blockchain record.